Welcome to the PHNX Sun Devil Podcast live show, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook, where right now, new customers who put just $1 down on any NFL game using our code PHNX will win $100 in free bets as long as either team scores a point in the game. That's right. You use our code PHNX when signing up right now on DraftKings Sportsbook, and you will get $100 in free bets as long as you put $1 or more down on any NFL game and they score at least 1 point. How we doing, everybody? Happy Thursday. Brittany Bowyer here, along with my co-host Shane Dieffenbach, who's kicking it at home today because it's his actually Thursdays are normally one of his days off, I believe.
Yep.
And so
Cheers.
We had to do a little bit of a different approach to today's show, but that's all right because it's still going to be a banger.
I accidentally clicked out of the studio right before the show started. So that's why I popped up late. I am looking mad cute. Thanks, Nick. I think I am too. I think my hair is doing something it normally doesn't do today. And there's just some emotion flowing through my body that makes me feel very adorable.
I like it. Well, it's Jersey Day too, by the way. So let's discuss what jerseys we have on. I'm wearing the one and only Larry Fitzgerald. It's rough not having him out there with the Cards, but he's forever going to go down as in my opinion, one of the greatest athletes to come out of Arizona.
And he's got one of the nicest asses on the football field ever seen.
Or I shouldn't say come out of Arizona, but to play in Arizona, even though they didn't really ever get to amount to a championship, he's still going to be a great.
So I got my Earl Thomas jersey on. Sorry, Cardinals fans.
It's all right.
But at least it's not a current player. It's a departure that was rough for the Seahawks. He flipped off their sidelines in his last game as a Seahawk after he broke his leg after not getting an extension. So there's at least some bitterness to this jersey for Seahawks fans. So
yeah, that's true.
It's sweet. The Wolf Gray is just, I love it. I think they're so cool.
Talking about jerseys, did you see ASU's jersey release for this week?
Those helmets.
They're sick. So in case anybody didn't see it, we have the video from Sun Devil Equipment that they dropped. Let's see what we got. So I absolutely love them. So let's go right into it. Are they trash or are they treasure? So for this week, I again have to go with treasure. They've only done the all maroon since really switching to Adidas once, I believe, and it was in like 2018. So, bringing that look back. They have those sick helmets again that we saw last week on the road against UCLA, but they have the sticker. And it all goes back to, it is Hispanic Heritage Month. And I like to see this. This is something that they're finally doing and relating with the team. There are quite a few players with Hispanic heritage on this roster. So I think it looks great. I don't know if you saw the picture that Brian Johnson from Twitter, or not from Twitter, but that he posted on Twitter, the groundskeeper that we had on our show a few weeks ago, that he shared. The end zones look so sick. So they did Los Diablos with the big Aztec type of design and writing in it going into the sides. So I'm really excited to see how this looks on the field. I think it's going to be sick.
Yeah, the Aztec patterns that they have on it are super sweet. I just enjoy them switching it up. I know a lot of people like the classic matte look or the all maroon, but for me, it's different, and some people don't like different, but I really enjoy it. And the all maroon jerseys in combination with the helmets, and they still have that pearlescent look to them. I really enjoy it.
I just think they're fire. I mean, I don't think they could have had, like, I don't know. I just think they look so good. Like, I think that really encompasses a lot of the Hispanic heritage. It's still in the region so heavily today, and I think it's also a good game to debut something like this when it's a month and it is something that connects to their culture, and you have players that can represent that on your team. So I'm really excited to see them debut this, and I can't wait to see how everything comes together with the field and the uniforms tomorrow under the lights.
Yeah, I just like how they combine the uniforms and the field together.
Yeah.
It's really unique, and I mean, Sun Devils fans should be excited not only for the performance that they're about to show on tomorrow night under the Friday Night Lights, but I also just the looking.
Oh no, Shane froze. That's a sexy picture of him right there. Oh, there you are. You're back.
Yeah, could you hear what I said?
No.
No, I just said looking good and feeling good relates to each other. So
Oh,
I think that'll be good.
It does, and we talked about that earlier in the week. Let's talk about some of our keys to the game that we think are going to be crucial in terms of getting the win against Stanford. My key to the game, the first one is definitely going to be coming in and having that killer defensive production that they had last week, especially in the second half, being able to channel that energy and put it all back on the field again this week. I think defense has to get off to a hot start.
Discipline goes hand in hand with that. I feel like the game are just going to get competitive. It's something that this Devils team do, and to get our run game early, that's the deep game. So both those go hand in hand.
Oh no. Well, we lost him, but he was saying something about discipline and how that goes hand in hand with getting off to a hot start defensively. So I believe he said something about not allowing Stanford to throw the deep ball. I think that is also going to be a huge critical key in this game. In addition to, their defensive production on the field and how they get off to that start, I think offensively, they're going to need to establish the run just as they did against UCLA. By doing that, it really opened up their passing game. We saw Jayden Daniels complete quite a few deep balls down the field. And also, I think it's going to be critical that somebody steps up as a receiver in this game. As Shane and I have also talked about a couple different times throughout the season, we've been waiting to see who's going to step up as a receiver for this team. Hey, there you are. We were
my Wi-Fi is having a bad day. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was just talking about how we've talked in the past about how a receiver is going to need to step up for this team. And I'm kind of just discussing how it's going to be important that whoever is that guy is committed in this game and really goes all out and fights for every single yard.
Yeah, I talked on the breakdown yesterday with Michaela. She asked me if this is going to be another game for Ricky Pearsall to explode, and I said it doesn't really matter who it is, but somebody's going to need to take advantage of this secondary that's hobbled and weak on Stanford's front. So it doesn't have to be Pearsall, but somebody needs to be that guy, because when it's just sprinkled all around the field, I don't know if it works as well as if somebody has a 100+ yard game, and that's something that also goes into the swagger thing. It gives when one guy's fired up, it gets the whole team fired up. So if Jayden can find another favorite target, or if it's Pearsall again, it's going to do good things for this ASU football team.
It is. And if Arizona State is able to pull out a win in this game, which I know looking at it statistically on paper, I mean, it seems like they should, but the Stanford team is kind of one of those teams you don't necessarily always know what to expect with them on a week-to-week basis. And like we said earlier in the week, they are really banged up. So it's kind of up in the air right now on who is starting where and what their total depth is. And there's just a lot of variables going into this game. But it would be a huge win in terms of moving the program forward. And I want to touch on this because, Nick, I do see that you commented asking us to discuss a little bit more as to why we believe that Arizona State is going to
get a damn subscription,
forever be a sleeping giant. I'm not, but this is going to roll right into my Lit with Brit, if you want to pull up that graphic, because ready? Lit with Brit. Fans need to come out to the damn games. I know it's a Friday game. I know it can be hard, but you don't need to keep this wait and see type of motto or whatever it is, the culture that ASU fan base has, where it's like, oh, we'll just come out and support them whenever they're good. No, you got to get ahead of that. And that is one of the things that factors into why Arizona State is going to overall be a sleeping giant, because here's a prime example. You have one of the top games of the weekend, actually the top Pac-12 game of the weekend. One, it's being played on a Friday night, but okay, you are probably not going to have a majority of that stadium sold out. Now, I've heard from some people that I've done some interviews with leading up to this game that they're hearing that there is going to be a push towards getting more people in the stadium for this game, especially because they know it's a Friday night game. But it's one of those things where it's just stupid. One, why are you playing it on a Friday night? You're limiting the number of people that you can have come out. But two, if you are available, you need to get your ass out there. Like, I get it, it's a Friday night, but it's a perfect excuse to go out, do something fun. When everyone was younger, Fridays used to be for football. Maybe you don't have kids in high school or anything right now. You don't have any relation to high school football to be there on a Friday, but come on down to Tempe on a Friday night and have a blast. Or you know what? Maybe you have no relation to football at all. I don't know. You're just looking for something to do on a Friday. You have a friend who has nothing else to do. Bring them along with you and then go out after. But make sure you get out to this game. It's absolutely crucial, because not having butts in seats, especially in a big game like this, it's going to be televised on a major network, which, by the way, this is going to be, I believe, 5 out of the last 6 games that are on a major network. So that's huge. People are looking at that. Recruits are looking at that. Get your ass in a seat, because they don't want to play in front of an empty stadium. They're going to want to go to the Penn State that has 105,000+ people, or Michigan that sells out like a stadium that's damn near as big as Ann Arbor. They want to go to that kind of environment. So I get it. Arizona State is not necessarily that same kind of town, but everyone collectively in the Valley needs to do better and make a better effort at getting out to as many games as they can. And that's what I have to say about that. That feeds into why Arizona State is always going to be a sleeping giant. Nick, I hope that answers a little bit more of your question. And also, like I had said, it's going to be a bi-weekly series, so it's not going to be weekly. So that gives you a little bit more time to get a subscription and get caught up with where we're at, because it's going to be a pretty long form piece that answers a ton of questions. And really, I hope that it fills in some gaps and some holes and helps be that bridge for the fans to kind of understand and get it all to come together and click. So while we're on this topic, go to PHNX, sign up, subscribe, or go phnx.com, sign up and subscribe. You'll have access to stories like that. Also, right now, we have our Pac-12 picks of the week that are going to be going up right after. Yes, I will shotgun a White Claw with you, but it has to be after the game, because I can't go onto the field having been drinking. But yes, I will shotgun a claw with you, Nick. So but go PHNX, sign up, get a membership. You'll have access to all of the Sun Devil content, as well as the Coyotes, the Suns, the Diamondbacks. I mean, if you want to see what U of A doesn't have going on down there, you can have access to their stuff too. But yeah, so head over to PHNX and do that. But Shane, before we get any further, do we want to hit on our Pac-12 picks of the week?
Well, that was lit with Britt, but how about shame with Shane?
Okay.
Shame on you, Sun Devils fans, for this even being a thing, this even being a topic. Not only is it a great stadium and great environment down there, but you also had the Pac-12 Player of the Week offensively in Jayden Daniels, and he's been producing at a high level for his 3 years. You have a great, fun coach in Herm Edwards, and you have an exciting defense this year in every category, in the secondary, up front, and the linebacker core. This shouldn't be a conversation. So that's shame with Shane. Shame on you.
I like it. I like your segment today. So we'll circle back around, because we're going to get into our Pac-12 picks, but starting it off, since the first game on the schedule is number 22, I believe Arizona State is ranked right now, against Stanford. And that's on Friday night. So sorry, I'm a little distracted because I'm trying to find my rundown. Anyways, I already know my pick for that game. It's Arizona State. This is our DraftKings pick of the week. So it's going to be a very, very exciting game. Like we said before, Arizona State brings a lot to the table right now. They are, I believe by PFF College, they're predicted to win the Pac-12 at 21% of a chance of doing so, or something like that. I don't think I said that right. But anyways,
you hit it. Yeah, Pro Football Focus and
it's going to
college.
be a good game. Stanford has come out, surprised a lot of people this year after their really poor showing in the first game. So anything can happen in the Pac-12, and especially on a Friday night.
In Tempe,
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah,
but I'm going with
Tempe gets
Arizona
weird
State
on
in
Friday
this.
nights. Yeah, I'm going with ASU as well. Last I saw, the line had actually moved to 13.5 last night. I think it's back down to 13 on DraftKings. So I don't know if I'm touching that, especially if it goes past 14. The 2 touchdowns is too much for Herm and how this offense works. I mean, if they get a lead early and they get the hot start that all the ASU fans are hoping for, I don't think they blow them out by like a crazy amount. But I mean, you never know. Late game stuff like against UCLA, where UCLA didn't score in the second half, that can happen against Stanford. I mean, Stanford might not score. Like, you just don't know what happens in these Pac-12 after dark games on a Friday, especially. So yeah, I'm taking ASU outright. I don't know where I stand on the spread, but ASU outright. That's my DraftKings pick of the week for sure.
Well, the other thing I want to hit on too is I do like the fact that Arizona State has Henry Haddis, offensive lineman Henry Haddis. He played for Stanford for 4 years, came here as a grad transfer, and then he is using his extra year of eligibility that he was granted because of the COVID season that threw everything into disarray. So, he is one of those players that is familiar with David Shaw and what he does as a coach and what he brings to the table and what his style and mentality is and thinking is. So, I do feel like that also gives Arizona State an advantage in going into this game. And I think that he really is going to help set the tone offensively early and in even this whole week in practice. I'm sure he really had somewhat of a voice in terms of getting the boys ready, and he was somebody that they would listen to because, his say does have a little bit more value to it.
For sure. Yeah, I don't see a way that Stanford on paper would beat this ASU team, but that's not how games are played. If they were played on paper, they'd be a lot more boring. So weird things are going to happen. I don't think it's a Sun Devil victory right out of the gate, but I think they'll end up getting it done anyway.
I think Arizona State gets the job done in this game. So that's our DraftKings pick of the week for that game. But moving on, only 3 games on Saturday. Got quite a few teams that have a bye this week. So let's get to those 3 games. It's Oregon State at Washington State, kicking things off at 1 p.m. I have Oregon State in this game. Washington State, I feel like, has just been a little bit too turbulent and up and down for me to confidently pick them. I think Oregon State, they have a little bit more energy, and it seems like they just have a little bit more structure to their program right now. I got to go with Beavs.
Yeah, I mean, the Beavers coming off a big win against USC. But Washington State just there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes ever since Mike Leach left, and especially now, like with the whole coach not getting vaccinated, and that's just not stuff you want to deal with in the middle of a football season if you're a college kid, not even an athlete. Just like there's no time for that. And in the years past, the only reason why anybody would be picking Washington State to make noise in the conference was because of their electric passing game and how they get the job done through the air. And that's just not the case anymore. They don't throw for 450 yards. They've completely overhauled, and when a team's in this process of switching up what they do, they usually don't do it well. So Oregon State, I mean, they haven't lost, and if they can win a game with their starting quarterback throwing for 46 yards, I think they can win this game against Washington State pretty easily.
Yeah, that's also true. After that, Utah at USC, 5 o'clock kickoff time. Both of these teams are coming in to this game off a really shitty start to the season, but in 2 different ways. So Utah had a player just after their I believe it was their Washington State game that they had, that got shot in the face and killed the night after that. So, he was really close with the player that died right around Christmas last year as well, had taken on wearing his number on the field because he wanted to honor his late friend. And so to have 2 of them die in less than a year of gun violence is something that really is reeling within that Utah community. They're still really painful, and it's painful, and they're hurting, and they're going to want to get that win for their past teammate. Meanwhile, USC, they've just been a complete train wreck. They've had the up and down with injuries and back and forth with the quarterback between Keaton Slovis and Jackson Dart and back to Keaton Slovis. They fired Clay Helton. Things have just been an absolute disaster for them, but in a different way. So going into this game, I think Utah's mentality is they're going to be sad, but they're going to be a lot hungrier to get this win and have a lot more of a passionate reason that invokes that from deep within, that pushes them. So I'm going with Utah in this game.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams obviously disappointing start to the seasons in general. High hopes for both of them, and both are underperforming. Keaton Slovis is still looks like a top guy. So does what's London, the receiver. He looks like he's NFL ready right now. But I just like Utah in this game, the way they match up. They're still that tough Utah team that you see throughout the years. They might not be as talented, but I think USC is just kind of almost throwing in the towel on the season already.
Yeah.
It just seems like a repeat of a lot of what's been happening to USC in the past 10 years, 15 years.
It really is very similar. It almost is like you can see it playing out to things that they've just done before. And then wrapping things up for the weekend is UCLA at U of A. I don't think there is a worse.
Do we even need to talk about this?
So
no, there's. I mean, it'd be hard to find one. And searching for that is not something I would want to spend my time on. Looking for bad football teams, watching U of A play football, if you could even call it that, is pretty horrendous in its own right. Maybe they have some guy that is in a fraternity down at U of A that's a really good football player that tried out for the team.
Tryouts.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe somebody makes a difference. Maybe a walk-on plays. That's the only reason why you should watch this game, Sun Devil fans, is if you want to see if a walk-on gets playing time. Other than that, there's no reason. I think DTR is pissed off. I think he wants to absolutely throttle them. I mean, I don't know what the spread is right now on DraftKings, but I would throw the house on it if it's below 27.
And I don't have them right now in this Google Doc because I was going to wait because I'm going to publish it right after the show, but I wanted it to be up to date, and I wrote this a little bit earlier, so that's not in there yet. But a lot of lackluster games this weekend in a way.
UCLA is favored by 16 points. I'm all over that. I wasn't on the bet show.
They win by more than 16.
I wasn't on the bet show today to give those nuggets. I would have given those nuggets out like it was a Big Mac pack meal. If I was on the bet show today, give me that minus 16 UCLA spread all day. I'm surprised it's not in the 20s. So there's a reason to watch that game. Throw some money on UCLA's spread. I know this isn't the bet show, but that's a reason why you should watch U of A football, and probably the only reason. So UCLA is easily a lock for this week.
And you should do that on DraftKings Sportsbook.
It's America's top-rated sportsbook, people.
Yeah, I was like, come on, Shane, take that drink.
It still is, and it's super fun. It's safe. It's secure. It's reliable. New customers can bet just $1 on any NFL game this week. Get $100 in free bets if either team in the game that you bet on scores 1 point. The last 0-0 tie in the NFL was in 1943. So I'd say this is a no-brainer. Did you see what happened on the Phoenix Sports Podcast yesterday when they were reading this read?
No.
Espos had, do you know what the number one movie in America was in 1943? It was Casablanca, when the last 0-0 tie was. And Michaela Perkins, her non-cultured ass, had no idea what Casablanca was.
Really?
So everybody go make fun of her on Twitter for that.
Okay.
But yeah, 1943, the last time this happened, Casablanca was in theaters. So I don't think that is going to happen. It's a no-brainer. Combine multiple bets for the same game for a bigger payout in these same game parlays. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. It's, as I said, it's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. You can deposit and withdraw cash whenever you want. I've been having so much fun using it. So download that DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use that promo code PHNX. Bet just $1 on any NFL game. Win $100 in free bets if either team scores 1 point. That's promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.
Well,
yeah. Well,
just as I'm about to polish off this White Claw, if men want to get polished off on the weekend, make sure you use Manscaped. Right now, if you go to manscaped.com and use our code PHNX, you will get 20% off plus free shipping. Lawnmower 4.0 is pretty legit, I'm hearing. I haven't used it. I'm not a man, so I don't know. But Shane can tell you all about it.
Yeah, I've been using the Razor, the Lawnmower 4.0, not in the dark, but it does have a light. for the non-well lit regions of your man area.
I just have a lot of not good visuals that come to mind every time we do this read and we start talking about a light and like,
well, it's a positive thing.
Areas.
It's a positive thing because you can clean yourself up. Also included is their weed whacker. It's a nose and ear trimmer, and it's here to whack your weeds and any goblins that come in your way. Both the lawnmower and the weed whacker are waterproof in the comfort of your own home or in wild waters. These tools are your best friends.
Wait, does that say wild waters? Like I'm gonna just go out into the middle of the rainforest and be like, you know what? I really need to trim my balls right now.
We're not shave shaming anybody. So get 20% off and free shipping with code PHNX at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code PHNX, slay your worst pubes, and keep your dagger clean with Manscaped. Gotta love them, huh?
Yeah. So, we talked about ASU fans needing to be more proactive this year with football, but it's going to be interesting to see how that ends up translating into basketball because the basketball team did not have the type of season that they thought they were going to have last year. A lot of fans were really disappointed. I know some people were calling for Bobby Hurley's head after the end of last season. I personally felt like that moved him into the spot where this season was going to, set him up for either a hot seat year or not in the 2022-2023 year. But we'll see what ends up happening. I think it's going to be an exciting year. They have a completely new roster, only 3, kind of sort of 4 returning players if you count Luther Muhammad, who did not see any playing time last year. But yeah, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of energy around the program. Shane, do you want to see what they had to say?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's take a look.
The overall identity, I think right now is just toughness. We got a lot of guys that are just tough. We compete every day. We go at each other every day. We're just really a really competitive group of guys. Hurley did a good job putting this group of guys together. We're all pretty similar in the way we approach the game.
It's just changing the culture because, last year we struggled, but I just feel like this collection of guys, I think everybody works hard, everybody's on the same page, and it's not. They're making my job that much easier. They all come to work. They all love being here. So if everybody that wants to be here, then that's all you can ask for.
Us coming back, being like the only 3 that really came back, it's a lot of weight on our shoulders. We have to become leaders, and we're hungry. We thought we were going to be good last year, but now we're kind of like the underdogs, and that's how we want it to be. We love that. So we're all excited for the season, and we're going to surprise a lot of people. I think we're looking really good, especially from a toughness and defensive standpoint. We got guys that came from lower majors that have a lot to prove. I play with a chip on their shoulder every day. I'm playing with a chip on my shoulder. Hurley has a chip on his shoulder. Everybody got something to prove this year.
We got a lot of experience. Marion Jackson, DJ Horn, Luther. He obviously was with us last year, but he couldn't play. But it's a lot of experience, and they compete. That's all they all compete as hard as they can every time they touch the floor.
Also, like these guys come from other programs where they have great values too, so they bring in little pieces with them, and we're just all learning from each other.
I know it's fun though. It's exciting. Obviously, even the fans coming back in the arena. I'm so excited to play in front of Sun Devil Nation. So hopefully everything goes as planned and there's no hiccups in the process.
So we've talked a lot about Sun Devil Nation so far during since they've had their press conference last week. We'll say we've talked about them quite a bit. We broke down their schedule that they have coming up when we were on the show on Tuesday, but I'm really just super excited to see how some of these players that have transferred in develop and fit into Bobby Hurley's system. That's something we didn't hit on. I'm also excited to see how they take it back, kind of transition and focus more on those values that Bobby Hurley kind of built his original culture on before they veered a little bit away from it they veered a lot away from it last year. So really getting back to that whole team aspect and team mentality. And we talked about how they hang out a lot as a team. They spend a ton of time together as a team. They go out to eat. They play Topgolf. They play a ton of video games together. They're pretty much inseparable when they're not at practice, even off the court. So I think that says a ton already right out the gate about the chemistry and the communication between this team. And it makes me super excited to see the product that they're going to put on the court at the end of the year, or not at the end of the year, but at the end of 2021 going into 2022, starting off conference play and into the season.
Yeah, I mean, you heard the consistent verbiage used by these players. It's exciting, and they're looking to surprise some people. Not a lot of people know what this roster is going to look like, and to me, it's just it's a whole new experience with a whole new team, a whole new mentality, and you could see the excitement on Bagley's face in that video, just talking about the leadership and how ready he is to run it back with Hurley and some of the returning guys. So. It's going to be fun. The team's going to look a lot different, but I think it's going to be for the best.
And the crazy thing is that video was pretty long, and I didn't even have anything from Bobby Hurley in it because I felt like the players really summed it up the best in terms of what their identity is going to be and what they're looking to get done on the court this year, how they feel, what their energy is. But Bobby Hurley had a ton of really amazing things to say too, and I have a whole story going up on PHNX.com, going up on gophnx.com. That's a little bit of like a mouthful for me to always get out every time. I don't know why. But yeah, it's going up in a couple days, or today or tomorrow, and it should be covering what you can expect from Sun Devil Hoops this year and really breaking down kind of the overall change in the culture and what they're getting back to this year. So make sure, like I said, go over there, check it out, sign up, and become a member.
Yeah, if you didn't catch the audio episode yesterday, you can catch it wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe, leave a review, helps us out a lot. But yesterday we touched on a preview of what to expect in this ASU basketball season, so we won't digress too hard again. But moving forward, we'll have more information on what the starting lineups are going to look like and how they're going to figure out this. They have the best problem in the world. They're almost too big, with Bagley being what looks like a guard now in this situation. I know he's probably going to play the 3 for the most part, and then he'll switch into the 4. But he could genuinely be like a guard if the lineup allowed it. With Kimani Lawrence playing the 3 or the 4, and he would switch into the 3. It's fun and it's exciting. And especially Luther Muhammad. He's a tall guard too. He's a tall 2. Really long guy. We talked about him and Colin Sexton's weird thing that happened at that free throw line. If you haven't seen that video, go look up Colin Sexton and Luther Muhammad. It's hilarious. He's a defensive disruptor. He's a lot like Patrick Beverly. And he was a 2-year starter at Ohio State. I mean, you don't have to say much more to get excited about Luther Muhammad.
And I mean, and that's the exact same thing that they talked about. I'm not exactly who it was who said it. I believe it might have been Bobby Hurley, but they have shot blockers. They have guys that are able to get down there, get the job done, get rebounds, box out. It's going to be a completely different team this year. And because of having a lot of the bigs that they have, it's going to allow everyone else's game to really open up and expand too. And Jalen Graham seems to be one of the people who's the most excited about his opportunities with that. And so is Marcus Bagley. So I'm equally looking forward to seeing what they're able to do and how they're able to elevate their game. Some things that are different for each of them from last year with the new additions and how it allows them to kind of move into different roles that might fit them a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the main point I want to get across about the Sun Devils team is it's going to be fun to watch. There's a lot of personalities, and they're going to be fired up to play in front of fans. I mean, they miss people at DFA. So
yeah.
I hope that culture doesn't transition over to the basketball season, because in years past when they were upsetting Kansas's and playing really fun basketball, I mean, Guard U was a great time, but that's not what this team is anymore. It's a completely different identity. So there's no more Remy Martins, there's no more Rob Edwards, there's no more Jahi Carsons that are flying down the court and with a super fast-paced offense, but it's way, way more fun than that. And I think the way that they're going to play this year is going to be a little more sustainable than in years past when they're down 2 to an Oregon team late in January and they need a bucket, and Remy Martin comes off a screen and hoists up a 3. Like it's not going to be like that anymore. So I'm really stoked, and the fans should be stoked as well for the Sun Devils.
I want to touch on that. That was also something Jalen Graham talked about, needing to talk to some of the incoming players about what to expect. He said sometimes with Pac-12 play, because we all know it's very quick, it's very up and down. He said sometimes he has to even remind himself. It's also talking to other players, when things get too fast, sometimes you need to slow things back down and reset that way. So in a situation like you're talking about, if they're playing Oregon and they're down by 2, I almost feel like this team is going to be better at taking a minute to slow things down, reset, and set up a play, rather than before it was kind of like, I felt like a lot of times they would scramble and it would just be like, oh, get the ball in Remy Martin's hands no matter what. And then he like somehow takes it in and acts like we've seen him so many times act like he runs it in like he's gonna put a layup up and he's in the paint and then he's up in the air, kicks the ball back out to the outside corner, and then they put up a three that misses and no one gets a rebound. And that's one of the most frustrating things. So I'm looking forward this year seeing them play a little bit more structured and not being so rushed in terms of trying to get things off and really setting the play up and trying to take control of those games in close situations.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that they were missing last year, and a lot of the reasons why before or 2 years ago was before like everything hit and like before the Pac-12 tournament was called off. This team wasn't this team didn't have a true leader because I mean it would have been Remy Martin, but Remy Martin had completely checked out basically. And I wish him well at Kansas, but we don't need that anymore. And outside of him, it was a young team, and I know there's only 3 returning guys, but all the transfers that are filling this roster out, and Kimani and Jalen Graham and Marcus Bagley, they're going to be ready to lead this team. And Luther Muhammad's an older guy. So it does feel like there's going to be a lot more of a team mentality rather than Remy Martin versus the world, which as fun as it was, as I said, it wasn't sustainable.
I despised it.
When you the Pac-12. Yeah, I liked it.
If anybody saw me after a couple of basketball games in the last, I would say probably 3 seasons, you've probably heard me talk about how I do not understand the thought process behind a lot of the players, and especially when Remy Martin gets on his vibe, like where he's just in the zone, but he's not. Like he's in his own zone, and he just keeps putting up shitty shot after shitty shot, and they're not falling, but he's not changing anything. And then when he does change, he's going to drive into the basket or drive to the basket and then kick it right out to the corner. They put up a 3. And this used to happen a lot with Rob Edwards, and he wouldn't be hot. He wouldn't hit the 3. He'd keep missing the 3 and no one would get the rebound. And so it's things like that. Like those were some of my frustrations. I think a prime example was in the game against U of A at the beginning of this year when he had 10 seconds left to put up a terrible shot and no clock management. He basically laid on the floor after and didn't try to get the rebound, get the ball back. And it was I don't really think it was a foul. So I never was really the longer Remy Martin was at Arizona State, the worse I felt like it was for his career.
Yeah, I mean, it was super up and down with him. You know, he had high highs and low lows. He was a very erratic player. He would hoist up bad shots, but the bad shots that he hoisted up sometimes would go in. So you live and die by Remy Martin. That's truly what it was. And he was a huge part of this team. It was mostly the reason why this Sun Devils team was able to win so many games when he was here. And
isn't that crazy though? Because his style of play was so hit or miss. So think of if they have something consistent to base it on, and it's not just all relying on.
But that's also what had to happen. Like there wasn't a lot of options.
There wasn't. And so at the beginning.
Last year we'll throw out the window. Last year I'm throwing it out the window because of all the disconnect and everything that happened with COVID protocols and all that. But the years before there weren't a lot of options.
Last year, I still in 2020 had a couple complaints about him that with little things that used to just drive me nuts. And I don't want to talk crap about him because, like I said, he is a high school kid, or not high school. He's a college kid. He's a young guy. He's out there playing his heart out. It's not like it's my place. I can't play basketball, but watching him sometimes did frustrate the hell out of me. I will say I was somebody who did voice some areas of concern even in 2020 leading up to the COVID stoppage at the Pac-12 championships.
Well, if I could bet on it, I'd bet that he makes a pretty big impact at Kansas. But I don't think you can just bet if Remy Martin's going to be a good basketball player at Kansas. So if you do want to bet on something that you can bet on futures for ASU winning the tournament, you can bet on just games in general. You can bet on Pac-12 Player of the Year, I think, on DraftKings, or National Player of the Year, probably not Pac-12. But if you want to get on the action, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's super fun, and it's a really. If you're smart with it, you can make some money. You can make some extra money to go out to Old Town or Mill, wherever you go. It's a fun. It makes sports so much more enjoyable. I had the time of my life watching a Bengals Jaguars Thursday night football game, which if there was
I'm
no
gonna
money,
sound so girly, but I love the Bengals helmets. Like they're
that's
so
not girly,
awesome.
they're sweet. That's not girly at all. They're cool helmets. And yeah, normally there's no way I would have enjoyed that, but I had money on the Bengals, and I live bet them, which is another thing that you can do super easy on the DraftKings Sportsbook app because it's super fast. It doesn't lag like these other apps. So if you want to get a $20 bet in on a team before they're about to score a touchdown, you can do that if it's not locked. Really easily on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Get your $100 in free bets when you place just $1 or more on any football game and either team scores 1 point, and you sign up using that code PHNX. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's the best. All right.
Doesn't Gardner Minshew play for the Jags still or no?
I think he got traded somewhere. Let me double check.
He plays for the Eagles now.
The Eagles, that's right.
The Eagles.
The Eagle Bagels, yeah, that's right.
E-G-L-E-S
Eagles. People were joking that he was going to beat out Jalen Hurts. I love him. Thanks.
I love Gardner Minshew.
But
you brought up Jacksonville, and we were talking about Washington State just not being the same team that they were when he was there with Mike Leach. So Bailey just hit us up and let us know that we were on the right path. He's on the Eagles. He plays for the Eagles now. So
cool. Do we want to get into
let's talk about some of the other winter sports coming up besides just Sun Devil hoops. We also have Sun Devil Wrestling, and they have been notoriously a super strong program, especially for Arizona State. So, here's one of their videos that they dropped on social media, getting everybody pumped up. They're about 4 weeks out from their scrimmage match that they have, but wrestling is so much fun to watch. I really, really encourage people, if they haven't watched it before, to just come out. It's pretty easy to figure out who's up and who's not. And I mean, you don't even really have to know the moves. They're super athletic, as you can just see by that backflip that one wrestler did right there. They're just crazy strong, crazy athletic, and they're good.
That meet with gymnastics. They still do that every year. What's it called?
Beauty and the Beast? That they have done it they might. I don't think they did it during COVID, but they used to have the Beauty and the Beast meet, and those were really
such
really
a great
fun.
name. That's such a great name.
They were super fun. So I think I called 2 of them for ASU's live stream before, and I always love to be on the call for those kinds of competitions.
Were you going back and forth where you're like, oh, he's got him pinned?
No, so I was only doing gymnastics, so it gave me a little bit of a chance to get to watch wrestling. I mean, I know a lot of people most people don't really know about wrestling, but I know a decent amount about wrestling, so I get excited to get a chance to watch it and see it actually live, because ASU's wrestling team is super good. So if you're interested in getting out to something, that is a program where they would love your support. It's not a lot of money to go out and get out there to support them. Like we said, they have their scrimmage coming up in about 4 weeks, and when the season kicks off, 2 years ago, I want to say it was right around that weekend that Arizona State upset Oregon. I don't know if it was football or basketball, but ASU wrestling beat Penn State, and that was absolutely huge for them to take down Penn State. So this program has potential. They've been on the rise for a couple years now. They have very strong recruits that come in year after year. It's a very historic program. If you want a program to support that you need some success to prove it first, these are your guys.
And so in Jayden Daniels, Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week, and in another sport, the Devils had a Pac-12 Player of the Month, and Cameron Sisk for the golf team.
So he was named Pac-12 Player of the Month. I can't speak English now. For the month of September. He's a 2-time All-American. He won the Merito Invitational in September with a tournament best 5 under on the par.
5 under par.
I'm reading directly from the press release, so
that's strange. I guess you could say that. But...
I'm just trying to. Anyways, you know what? He's doing great. So he's off to a great start this year. Make sure if you are into golf, though, you check out Sun Devil Golf. Both the men and the women's. They're both very strong teams as well. Both of them have made national championship runs if they haven't won one in recent years. So yeah, I know. Mike Luke down at U of A loves to say, oh, what's ASU known for? Like, oh, they love to call themselves a football school. Like, we're more than that. We're a golf school and a triathlon school.
We're also a fun school.
And a wrestling school.
Yeah. So let's get into this last segment, which we usually do this on Fridays.
We do.
But since it's a Thursday, or we have a Friday night game to preview, we won't be doing a live show before the game. We'll be doing it post game. So this is the this week on the internet. This is the review that we do every week. So let's get up the first video, Jacob, if you want to play that.
What animal has 2 feet but can't walk?
A snake. A snake do have 2 feet. Yeah, they flip the snake over. They got like 2 little small legs. I swear.
No, it don't, bro.
Okay.
No, it don't.
Okay.
Stop playing.
A snake got 2 legs.
I love the
Where
picture
did he
that
get
they
that?
showed.
That was not what I expected him to say was a snake.
I love the picture so much that they showed of the little snake with 2 legs. Wouldn't that be so great?
It would be. Bailey's right. We are starting to be known as a hockey school as well. Bounce back to videos though real quick so we don't get too distracted because we're both bad at that.
Yeah. All right, next one.
I need to stop applying for random jobs on Indeed.com. I gotta play Florida State in 1 hour.
That was I forget what school that was that is playing that, but it was somebody on another SEC school maybe. They posted that on TikTok, and it's just so funny, the idea of applying to be a college football player on Indeed, and the music in the back or whatever the hell that was in the background. I'm sorry if you're wearing headphones, that must have hurt your ears a little bit. I thought that was hilarious. All right, next video. This is so funny. There's music over this, but this is an ongoing thing on TikTok where people make fun of Drake because he's corny. So they're doing a bunch of cartoonish things.
Someone needs to do it in a wheelchair.
Oh, for Degrassi.
That's all I ever think of is Drake and Degrassi, where he's like, or they make him sound stupid and they put the like voice over his face.
All right, let's go to the next one. This is so sick.
This just screams Canada. You couldn't even hit that many times if you tried.
That's just ridiculous. The hand. I used to play hockey. I came nowhere near being able to even cradle the puck. I can't imagine being skilled enough to do that. The hand-eye on that is nuts.
I can't skate to start with, so I would never be a hockey player.
That's where I used to pick up girls in middle school, was the All-Tel Ice Den. I'd always go there and be like, look at me, I can skate backwards.
Yeah. And then you're like, hey, Mom, come pick us up in the whip and take us to get pizza.
Come on, Mom, let's go. I got a couple baddies with me. It's time to go get some Pizza Hut.
And she's just like, okay, honey, let's go.
All right, I think we have one more video. This is one of my favorite things I've seen on this app in so long. I don't know why I think this is so funny. It might not be as funny as it is to me as it is to you guys, but go ahead and roll this one.
It's just so weird. It could be like mine. Shane's hyperventilating. Somebody do CPR.
I don't know why I think that's so funny. I don't know why I think it's so funny. Boing. He's like,
you should try it with your mustache and see if it looks the same.
I actually told my buddy.
Stop covering your face like you're embarrassed. What are you covering your own face for?
I'm just laughing. I don't know. Sorry. My buddy, the guy I went on a hike with this morning, I told him that I would remake that if he went on a hike with me. So I have to do that later. I'll send
good. Well,
I
feel like you should share it and we should watch it on tomorrow's post game show.
Maybe. All right. We have one picture to show, I believe. Or maybe 2. I think we just have one. Do we have one still or no?
We have no photos.
No photos. There's no photos at all, even though I put it in the Dropbox, but I guess we just didn't get it.
Jacob says no.
Somebody gave me all their stuff 2 minutes before the show.
Jacob said it's your fault because you gave him all their stuff 2 minutes.
It is my fault. All right. Well, anything else, Britt, that you want to talk about before we wrap?
No, I feel like we hit on a bunch of stuff today. It's going to be an exciting weekend for Sun Devil football. Make sure you get out, get your asses in the seats. Show up, show out.
Be loud.
Yeah. Go PHNX.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, appreciate you guys, and we will see you on the post-game show tomorrow within 5 minutes of the game being over, final whistle. So please join us at PHNX Sports on YouTube. Follow us at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow Brittany at BBoyer07.
Boom, you got
Twitter.
it.
And you can follow
Yeah.
me at Shane Deef. Thanks for watching. It's a pleasure as always, and we'll see you here tomorrow night.
Yeah.